Well, taking a look at some of the areas where Morikawa's game slipped in 2022. After 2 consecutive years in the top 5 of strokes gained tee to green, he fell to 17th last season. That's not precipitous, but he was 152nd in strokes gained around the green and tied for 166th in putting from 4 to 8 feet. Both those ranks were career worst for Morikawa. All right, Tripp, you know the way this guy played a couple of years ago, you just didn't think it was possible that he would ever not be a significant force, but in the end, it always comes down to the same thing. It's putting, and Morikawa has struggled in that area at times.
True. Okay, so he has struggled putting, but let's follow it here and what he just said and kind of piece it together. He said he was struggling really from the beginning of the year with his ball striking, and what it was the way his body was moving, and he couldn't do what he liked to do with the golf ball, which is hit it very, very well. I mean, nobody better as far as iron play on the PGA Tour week in and week out when Collin Morikawa is swinging the way he wants and moving the way he wants. So I think that when you see the progression in those numbers, they make sense in a couple of ways. He was not hitting the ball like he normally does, and he was also doing another thing. He was trying to fight it. He said before the U.S. Open, I like hitting a fade, but the ball's not doing what I want, and he kept trying to fight it. And he said, you know what, I got to go out and just play and go with what I got and deal with the consequences. He said that right before the U.S. Open, and oh, by the way, he was right there with a chance to win until, as you said, a 77 on Saturday was his undoing, but still, you know, a nice performance at Brookline overall. And then you look at, okay, well, then his chipping and his putting fell off was because the guy never has to chip. I mean, he hasn't had to chip for most of his career because he hits so many greens. So he wasn't hitting as many greens. He wasn't getting the ball up and down. Look, he's never going to be the best putter because he's one of the best ball strikers. That's just statistically improbable. When you hit more greens than everybody else, you're not going to make more putts than everybody else. That just isn't going to happen unless your name is Tiger Woods. So the thing about Collin Morikawa, I think right now, listening to what he said, 2023 is going to be pretty solid because he learned 2 things. He learned that what his body was doing wrong, he's going to fix it. And then if he ever gets back into that, he knows, hey, I'm not going to try to fight it. I'm going to do what the best players do. I'm going to go with what I got that week, make it work, and just deal with it. And I think that's what's going to pay dividends for Collin Morikawa, not only next year, but for many, many years to come when you struggle, which no matter how talented you are, you inevitably do in this game of golf.
Just frightening to me to think that 25, he considers 25 to be middle age. But, Jaime, you think if there was an actual turning point for him, it actually came in a tournament which wasn't even an official event?
Yeah, and it was the end of that great year in 2021. You know, he was the mature closer, the guy who also, you know, won 2 majors, but talked about wanting to be #1, you know, quite confidently, ambitiously, like, you know, this is going to happen. And there at the Hero World Challenge in December, he had a 5-stroke lead after 3 rounds. Had he won, he would have become world #1. And everybody expected it to happen because he had so beautifully handled always the pressure in these really big events, obviously 2 majors and 3 other tournaments. And yet he shot 76 that day.
Yep.
After 7 holes, he'd had 2 doubles, 2 lost balls. He was 1 stroke behind. It was really a struggle. He shot 41 on the front and ended up tied for 5th. And it was really the first time probably he had some real scar tissue because to that point, his arc had been, his trajectory had been straight up without any ripples, not jagged at all, a straight line. And so what happens in golf is it's hard. And he learned it, you know, brutally right there with everybody expecting him to convert this thing. And it must have thrown him a bit. He hasn't won since. I'm not saying that's the only factor, but certainly he's probably not quite as confident as he was going into that tournament because he knows what can happen and how golf can turn on you quickly. So he's a wiser golfer, and that'll probably make him a better golfer in the long run. But, you know, sometimes ignorance is bliss, or at least youth is bliss, and he's an old man now. He's 25.
Might have had a few other things on his mind that week because that was also the week that he proposed to his then-girlfriend, fiancée, Catherine.